Hi artists, Mrs. Marden here. It's that time of week again. I am going to show you one of the 5 choices, the follow along the video choice. So we're going to be using a different material to paint with. So we're going to be using coffee. So all you need is for your parents or whoever you live with to make some coffee and to save a little bit for you to paint with. And then you need a piece of white paper. Watercolor paper is going to work the best. We're going to be making some seascapes, but if you don't have watercolor paper, that's okay. So all you need is a paintbrush, some coffee, and a white piece of paper. So right now I'm going to go step by step. So what you're going to do is first, and I already did this part, is I'm going to paint the ocean with my coffee and let it dry. You're gonna kind of be doing things in layers. And then you're going to start painting some details and then let it dry, and then more details and letting it dry. So this will kind of have 3 different sessions as you work. So I already painted my ocean and I let it dry. And now I'm going to do my second layer. So I'm just going to, I have my little cup of coffee and paintbrush, and I'm going to dip my paintbrush in the coffee and maybe kind of, scrape it on the side so it's not too wet. And I'm going to now paint some seaweed. So we're making a seascape. The reason why I chose a seascape is because something that I think a lot of us are really missing right now is the beach. So this just gives you an opportunity to kind of take yourself there. So using coffee, which is something I'm sure your parents are drinking lots of coffee right now, and teachers are drinking lots of coffee right now. And then thinking of the ocean. So right now I'm just drawing some wavy lines for some seaweed. So I have my ocean and then some wavy lines for seaweed. And then maybe I want to draw or paint a sun. Start thinking of that summer sunshine. So your goal for this is to have multiple layers. I want you to think about having some different types of lines, okay, and shapes, and just seeing where it takes you. It's fun to use different materials, things that you would have at home to paint with. So now I would technically let this dry and then do my next layer. Okay, so my next layer, I might do, maybe I want to do another layer of ocean. So if you let it dry in between, you'll see those really nice multiple layers. And I'll share with you on the website a finished one so you can see the multiple layers. Okay, and then maybe I want to paint some sea creatures. So maybe I want to paint some fish, and you can keep them pretty simple. Maybe I want to paint a sea turtle. Once again, you can keep that pretty simple. So add a couple sea creatures. Maybe your favorite sea creatures. Maybe I want to paint some birds in the sky. Okay, So the materials that you need are white paper, preferably watercolor paper, but if you don't have watercolor paper, that's okay. A little cup of coffee, and I would let the coffee cool off before you paint, and a paintbrush. And then focusing on multiple layers. So doing one layer, so doing the ocean, painting the ocean first, letting it dry. Second layer, painting some seaweed, straight or wavy lines or both, and then letting it dry. And then also adding the sun and maybe some birds and clouds. And then your last layer is going to be your extra details. So your sea creatures, maybe some seashells, things like that. Okay? So it's kind of abstract. It's fun to paint with something different and just have fun with it. And maybe parents can do some too, since coffee is a very high needed thing in the household right now. So save a little extra and paint with it and see what happens. All right, I can't wait to see what you come up with.